author of The Truth About Crypto, got a new book out. Rick, what do you make of the tumult?
Well, this was kind of inevitable. There was so much enthusiasm, irrational exuberance. There was so much leverage in the system. And there were so many people who got caught up in the hype of Bitcoin hitting almost 70,000 back in November, with so many Hollywood stars doing testimonials and a lot of financial folks talking about $500,000, $1 million valuations, that FOMO took over, the fear of missing out. And tons of people jumped in, and now they're realizing that there wasn't a lot of rationality to the strategy.
And there, of course, were a lot of jokes made about all the Super Bowl commercials pitching crypto, and everyone saying, okay, this has to be a sign at the top. But, you know, for all the speculation out there, and for all, I guess, some of the unsavoriness in this industry that has existed for a while, there was a certain legitimization that seemed to be sort of unfolding over the last couple of years, with more institutions embracing this, more big-time investors saying, I actually consider this a part of my portfolio planning. What happens to those folks?
That's been a really healthy sign, but a negative side effect is that those very institutions which have gotten involved for the first time in the last year are treating Bitcoin as a sleeve in the equities class, as opposed to treating Bitcoin as a separate asset class. So when they're selling NASDAQ and they're selling stocks, they're selling Bitcoin at the same time. It's like they didn't get the memo that this is a non-correlated asset. They're not supposed to be doing that.
Because it's not non-correlated.
Well, it has been. The first 11 years it was, until the last year. So the question is that party over? And do we have to now regard Bitcoin like another tech asset?
Where then is the role of regulation in this?
It has... Terra Luna, its collapse 3 weeks ago. Celsius, its collapse 3 days ago, are spurring regulators and legislators to hurry up with the new rules. We don't have enough regulation or legislation. We don't have enough rules of the road, and that has allowed bad players to engage. It has prevented some legitimate players from engaging. There's no Bitcoin ETF, for example, which is keeping a lot of the financial advisory market out of this, forcing investors to go to chat rooms and social media for advice. And look at the dangers that inflicts upon them. So the good news about this mayhem is that it's spurring action by the regulators and legislators, long overdue, can't come fast enough.
Rick, you're a man who's spent your life sort of thinking about financial literacy, really, and these sorts of moments, do they inspire a desire to want to learn more, or do they actually make new investors who came in during COVID and had nothing to do but download Robinhood app and get involved actually be like, okay, I'm out of this. This isn't the way that I want to build wealth?
Both. You've got those who love Bitcoin, those who hate it. What's going on is reinforcing attitudes. Nobody's changing their opinion. But the vast majority, 65%, 2/3, are what they call crypto curious. They don't understand what's going on. They don't get it. They're curious. They want to learn more. And the tumult of what's happening is spurring them to take action, to get that knowledge and education, because they're suspicious. If there's a there, this has to be a great buying opportunity. But they're not convinced it is. And so it's always good news that people recognize, I don't know anything about it. It's time for me to learn.
When you go back through history and you look at any major financial instrument that we have that exists right now in this market here, there was always that period of uncertainty, that period of, is this thing going to work? A lot of sort of fits and starts. And obviously some don't make it. But the ones that did, there's always this sort of proof of life, I think, with regards to its utility, its usefulness. Does crypto have that?
Absolutely does. That's the most exciting part about this. Forget about the price for a minute. This is the 7th time in Bitcoin's history it has fallen 70% or more. Set that aside. It happens. The key is this is software. That's all Bitcoin is, blockchain technology. And businesses use software. And this technology is so revolutionary, it allows businesses to operate faster, safer, cheaper, with greater transparency and inclusion. What's not to love? Over time, meaning years, we're going to see global commerce adopting this technology in incredible ways. Price, irrelevant.